Hi traders, and welcome to today's acysecurities Forex market analysis. My name is Duncan Cooper and I will be your host. Today we will focus on the dollar index and the Australian dollar to the US dollar. So first we'll look at the news items coming out for the day, and then we'll have a look at the charts. Okay, so first up I'm just going to look at the economic calendar at FinLogic. Now I am going to be reviewing the Australian dollar to US dollar today, so I'm just going to filter just for the high news items. Here we go. I want to look at what can impact the Australian US dollar. Now Tuesday today there's some China news coming out, the manufacturing PMI, that can affect the Australian dollar to the US dollar. Certainly the Australian RBA interest rate decision, that's at 2:30 this afternoon, this is Queensland time. Getting into Thursday 11:30 Australian balance of trade for sure, and then to Friday we've got the US non-farm payroll, the job figures, so for sure that could affect the Australian dollar to the US dollar as well. Now there are some more news items coming out, so you could just make yourself aware of these. Going back to the filter, just going to filter medium and just for Australia, and I did notice that on Wednesday we've got the GDP figures coming out as well, so just go through, make sure you know where all the items are coming out that can affect a trade if you're in the Australian dollar to US dollar. Okay, alright, let's get into the charts, and first up we'll have a look at the dollar index. There we go. Alright, I want to start on the monthly chart. Now I've been reviewing this over the last 2 weeks, so down to the monthly, and I've been discussing that price action has been moving down but still getting support from these old resistance highs back in 2010 and 2008, and as we can see we still on support here on the monthly. Trend is still down, we've got a lower top, a lower bottom, but getting support still. On the weekly, maybe we have a double bottom forming here on the weekly. We did have just a positive candle last week, so maybe we are just holding on support. Okay, to the daily, we are seeing MACD cross up. Price action though still showing lower tops and bottoms, but we are holding on support. So if we could just break above this high here, that would start to put this in a much more upward bias. Okay, so we just need to monitor that. If we do break above this high point as I'm showing you just there, then that's going to put the daily chart trend into an uptrend, and that's going to be positive for the US dollar and negative for pairs to the US dollar. Okay, so with that in mind, let's now move into the Australian dollar to the US dollar. I'm going to start at the monthly chart, and in terms of price action we've been moving up from this low to a higher top, higher bottom, higher top. Yes, we've got a higher bottom starting to form here. MACD is just confirming the trend, but what's been happening, I've already got the line in here, there's a line of resistance from this old top here at 78.35, and that's been acting as very good resistance over the last few months. So we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 months there where we've been rejecting at that level and starting to hold underneath. If we look at last month's candle, then we can see that we had an inverted hammer. So we came up to that level once more and we traded down for most of the month afterwards. Okay, finishing quite close to the low. So maybe we're getting a rejection here, a final rejection. If we do break the low of last month, that's going to start to put in the lower top, confirm the support we're seeing on the dollar index, and we may well see the start of a move down this way. Okay, so that's my philosophy at the moment. Looking at the monthly chart, seeing rejection, so are we seeing the start of a reversal? Okay, down to the weekly chart, and I'm just going to take this line off. We know that's at 78.35, but I want to put weekly levels in now. So we've got three levels of resistance on the weekly chart. They're at 78.20, 78.49. So that's that one there, 78.20, 78.49, and this one here at 78.91. So I'm going to put this one in, 78.20. I'd put the exact numbers in. And the next one, 78.49. And I'll probably leave the last one out because it's getting a bit busy for the moment. So in terms of the weekly chart trend, we have a higher bottom here, moving up to this final high here. Then we move down to a lower low, changing the trend. And then we've moved back up. So actually we have final top here, we come down and put in a lower top here, move down to a lower low, then we've actually come up to a higher top and potentially putting in a higher bottom here, but we keep failing at resistance. And whilst it's not the perfect looking head and shoulders, we potentially got a left shoulder here, head, and a right shoulder here forming, potentially on the weekly chart. Alright, at the top of price action up here, when we did put that top in, I can see that we just had a bit of minor negative divergence. That just might be giving us a hint that's the final top. Time will tell. But if we do look at the MACD indicator as well, we can see that even though price has been moving up to a higher high, we're not getting a higher, a move up through here. It's deflecting off the signal line, it's staying down even though price is moving up, so that could be a false move. So potentially we've got a higher top, higher bottom forming here, but we're rejecting at resistance. To the daily, and we can see a lot of consolidation on the daily. Now I did just discuss that we've got a potential left shoulder, head at the top, right shoulder here on the weekly, but on the daily we've got the same thing. So let me just paint that in. So we potentially have here a smaller left shoulder there, maybe a right shoulder forming over here, and a head. So where I'm saying from the weekly chart we've got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming. On the right shoulder we've potentially got a smaller head and shoulders pattern forming here. Now if we break below this support low here, that's going to confirm this pattern just here for a move down. So let me just put in my daily support, that's at 76.75. And that's getting support here from this old top to the left. So we broke above this top and that's been support. Then I've got this support low in here, more support, and last Friday we came down and got more support just above the 76.75 level. And now we're heading back up. But in terms of price action, we have the final top moving down to a higher bottom, lower top, higher bottom, then to a lower bottom, lower top, lower bottom. So price action on the daily is actually in a downtrend. It's just bouncing off the low of last month. So if we can break below here, that's going to confirm the head and shoulders pattern, and then it's probably going to confirm a move down to this weekly level of support at 75.32. So that's what I'm anticipating, that maybe we're going to get a move down to test this low over time. Now there's a lot of news coming out this week, and until that news comes out we probably won't know which way it's going to go. But just from a trend perspective at the moment, things are starting to break down. we are seeing lower tops and bottoms in price action on the daily, and the MACD is just confirming that. Okay, so if we move to the 4-hour chart, we're just seeing a lot of consolidation, and with that in mind, so I'm just going to move back to the daily. Just want to put in daily resistance. First level of resistance is just here at 77.96. And then there's another level up here at 78.13. So there's a lot of resistance at or around the 78 number. 78.13. Alright, back down to the 4-hour chart. So what we can see is there's this daily level of support and lots of 4-hour lows coming in at or above that level through here, with last Friday's low coming in. And then above we've got daily resistance, then weekly resistance, and weekly resistance further up. So there's lots of resistance up here, lots of support down. So we're trading, relatively speaking, between 77 and 78. Now at the moment my bias is to the downside, hopefully for a breakdown that way, because we've got lower tops and bottoms on the day chart. I'm going to put a fib in, and this is the high of last week, and we're just moving up within the range of last week. Now on the 4-hour chart, if we do break above this high here, the 4-hour trend is going to turn up in the short term, but we're just retracing back up within the week of last week at the moment. If we do move above here, well, we will move above last week's high, but we're going to be heading straight into resistance. So at the moment I'm just on the sidelines monitoring what is price action doing ahead of the news items coming out, and then what does it do afterwards. So after we get the interest rate decision today, I'll just be watching carefully to see what is it going to do up here at the 79% retracement level. Is it going to come up here and hold? I can see we've got lots of resistance here, 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 and here. So anywhere from the 79% retracement level up to last week's high, or even into these other resistance levels up here, I'm looking for price to come up, stop, reject, and then I'm going to drop down then to a lower time frame to look for an entry to sell in line with the day chart trend at the moment. Now of course if price moves up to here, theoretically it changes the day chart trend, but resistance trumps trend, and we're seeing that head and shoulders pattern on the weekly and the day chart. So that being said, looking at the 79% retracement level during the course of today and into tomorrow, looking at these resistance levels up here to see whether we can reject. If we do, I'm going to move down to a lower time frame and look for an opportunity to sell. Okay, that's my analysis for today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.